Welcome, fair people of YouTube. Today we are back in competitive land with the deck that has a nice budget accent, and because so, it will definitely come in handy to every new player. The deck is the Hulk, our banner sword. The deck revolves around the card Royal Banner. It is an 4-mana amulet that will boost your officer's attack by 1 to all the officers that are already on the board and all the ones that will just enter it. The entire deck is very aggressive, but it mainly focuses on the support of banners, so we'll play a lot of followers that, for example, place additional officers on the board, or have stealth, or storm, or other useful options we'll go to very soon. Our early curve is made of minions that synergize with banner completely, so storm, like Quick Blader, additional minions generation like Outlast Knight, and stealth like Kunoichi Trainee. The thing that stands out of the deck and is very useful is Maid Leader. She basically lets you draw a random commander from your deck. Royal Banner is actually a commander, even though it is an amulet. The only other commander we play in the deck is Avant Blader, which lets you draw more officers for your banner synergy. We don't really want to draw Avant Blader on 2 with our Maid Leader, that's why we play only 2 Avant Bladers and 3 banners. It overall gives you a pretty fair chance to draw your banner till turn 4. Our mid game will mostly focus on trading, that's why we play Aesthetic Knight that has pretty low aggro value with only 1 damage, but is pretty hard to kill with 4 health total on both minions. Because he also summons a Heavy Knight, that is a 1-2 also. Novice Trooper is a very versatile unit. You may use her to charge phase to trade for the 1/1s multiple times, or simply charge her into something bigger with the help of Banner. Ruthless Assassin is there mostly as an additional Storm minion, because she has guaranteed Storm as long as you have Banner on the board. Banner will very rarely get removed. And Floral Fencer is the ultimate trading machine. You just play her on 4 or on 5 if you are going first, evolve her and you get such a big tempo swing. She is very hard to remove with her additional knights, and she will literally win you the games if you can draw her consistently on turn 4. Our high-end curve is Avant Blader, which we already talked about. She's there to draw you more officers. Tsubaki, which is very good in this deck. She's very underrated. Many people think she's too slow for the deck, but Tsubaki is actually something I want to talk about a bit more. How often when playing aggro deck versus Heal Heaven, you were in the situation that they clear your board and heal their face, the minions regain health by Elena's Prayer, and at one point you were barely off lethal and their board were like 10-10s, like 3 10-10s, and you had to kill them all. You couldn't kill them, they could kill you, and you had to keep pushing face or they will just out-heal you, but if you do, they will kill you with their minions. That's where Tsubaki comes in. For 6 mana, and you definitely have 6 mana to spare if you are playing versus 10-10s on Elena Heaven's side, you destroy one of their minions, and you stealth your Tsubaki, which has 4 attack base, +1 for every banner you have on the field. This will guarantee you a nice burst of damage for the final push to the control side, and as also will remove the big minion that could kill you or that stays as a ward in your way. I play only 1 Tsubaki, mostly because the deck is more aggressive in my version, but I could definitely play more, even if this version I would probably remove something like Kunoichi Trainee, because Kunoichi Trainee is there as a filler. And our last card is Alvida Commands, which will summon you a Pirate and a Viking, so again 2 units, very good synergy with Royal Banner, but this is also a 6 mana 3 damage Storm. 6 mana 3 damage Storm is pretty standard, and with Banner it will probably be at least 4 damage, right? Plus you can evolve it. With all the cards mentioned, we'll go to competitive game. We are still playing on AA2, and we'll show you how the deck works. I will quickly cut the video right here and come back with an opponent. Alright guys, we are back with some forest action. We will not keep the Centaur Vanguard on Avant Blader. We'll keep the Floral Fencer though, because we are going second. And Floral is one of the most important cards. We have the Maid Leader into Aesthetic Knight into Floral Fencer, so we have some kind of a curve. But versus Fairy, the Vanguard on 1 is very highly valued. Well, that's not the Vanguard I was talking about. We may draw Banner from our Maid Leader, but we don't really need to. It will be fine if we just get Avant Blader. Banner is very important in this deck, like we play only officers and a lot of them can immediately take value from the Banner, but it's not that crucial as it seems.
Welcome home, sir.
We'll get the Banner though, and it's always better to have it than not to have it, right? Also, with this hand, we shouldn't run out of steam very early, so Avant Blader is not a must. Probably we'll see the Ancient Elf here. Yeah, there is the Ancient Elf. We beat the Ancient Elf with Floral play on turn 4. So we'll set up this Aesthetic Knight. It will not do much. Maybe one of them will die from the Ancient Elf. We don't really care at this point. It's just not to pass our turn completely. Which we might as well do, really. It would not be a misplay at this situation.
May the forest be at peace.
Alright, he'll probably replay Lisa. Alright, so as I said, one of them will die, but we get the huge Floral swing.
You're done for.
This is why going second is so good. At least for Sword with the Floral Fencer, but to be honest, every class has a powerful 4-mana evolution, except for maybe Blood. Yeah, he can trade his Lisa into my Fencer, which is acceptable. It took basically 2 cards and left a 2-2 and a 1-1 behind. For only a cost of 1 evolution card. Oh, he missed it or he sniped it. No, he doesn't really have. If he had Angelic Barrage, he would play it first. He will try again. And miss the most important target this time. Draw 2 cards, probably evolve. I would imagine. Yeah, he will evolve.
Am I a grown-up yet?
We will probably play the Banner and start going face. I don't really see the importance of this card here. Well, we could trade just for the sake of playing around Cynthia, if we really think he has it. What would be our follow-up play? We probably play Alvida into Double Centaur and Aesthetic Knight, or maybe Banner and Aesthetic Knight. Double Banner is very strong on board. Your Centaurs become 4 damage chargers then. Yeah, I think we could trade. We are definitely not evolving full face, that is for sure. Because we'll get 2 additional damage, but the Maid will just clear it. And Forest is very good at defense with Fairy Beast, Tia and Ancient Elf. We have to be very careful versus Forest. Okay, so this is some kind of PTP. He will never reach a PTP before we kill him. It just doesn't happen, and I will probably see that in this game, because I said it, but it is very tight chance and you never play around it.
May the forest be at peace.
The moment he is very close to his 30 shadows, you can start going face, but there is no must. Alright, we have Alvida command again. We will evolve the Taunt to increase his lifespan. Right, we evolve for 2 health and lose only 1 on the trade. And we'll go face. We'll probably see some kind of Tia play, like he has now 2 fairies for 1 and probably a Tia. Yes, there it is. So again, Angelic Barrage would be great here, but we don't run it in this version. This is a thing you definitely can run in your Banner Sword though. Alright, we'll have to spare 1 Stormer to kill it. We'll probably use Quick Blader for that, it's a perfect top deck. Now, what to set up to make it the most efficient turn? We could set up another Banner, or we could set up Alvida and deal with the Tia. Because you usually want to kill the Tia in case of a bounce. I think we'll kill the Tia and we'll use our last evolution on that. We'll do the same trick with Evolving Taunt and killing a 1-1. It lets us go face for more damage. Next time we can drop Banner and double Centaur for a total of 8 damage. So basically if our fort wins we have little next turn. That is actually not true because... no, we have enough space. That is true. We have enough space on board. We can do that. So let's see what's his answer. Another Tia? Maybe? Rhino. Probably some kind of nature guide. Or both Tia and Rhino. So he will clear both our minions. And we have to spend another Stormer to kill the Eve. This is definitely not a good time.
I failed you, my young. You wouldn't.
But we are still in advantage in my opinion. Another Alvida command. Well, we cannot kill the Tia the same way this time, but we'll definitely go for Alvida command.
You're safe with me, Captain.
Now the question here is, do we kill the Tia or do we go face? We could go face, but as I said, you have to be very careful versus Forest. If we don't kill Tia and he plays Ancient Elf into Fairy into Tia, we automatically lose. We cannot get through another wave of taunts. So we'll kill the Tia, it will make Ancient Elf weaker, it will make it impossible for him to replay this Tia. This is definitely much better play than going face for 4, because we are not running any Demonic Strike or Percival for direct damage. Will of the Forest will clear my board, that doesn't really matter. Alvida command did what it had to do.
You wouldn't.
Alright, he's doing that mainly for draw. He's pretty desperate at the moment. He has enough shadows, so we are facing PTP right now. But we have pretty good stuff right here. We'll play Maid Leader.
Welcome home, sir.
Maybe draw into another banner. We have another banner. He has his PTP active, so we'll start going full face and hope on drawing some Stormers. If we draw any Stormer next turn, we actually win the game. And we have a lot of Stormers. There is one PTP. But he doesn't play Fairy Beast. So the Stormer stays. We just need to draw a Stormer. Probably like half of our deck in the moment is a Stormer. Oh, that is very good. The Stormer no longer wins us the game. Well, very good for him. Mentor Stitching will let us kill the elf with Vanguard though. And we may draw into another Stormer. Nope, that's not a Stormer. So we probably lose here. He found all his defensive pieces, was able to withstand our assault, and he definitely deserves this game. That's the power of PTP Forest. We'll definitely showcase it in our deck building series. One day, probably not so often. Alright, Novice Trooper is not enough. It's a good try, but it's not enough. It's still 3 mana Forte with additional health points. Yeah, we'll show him we have Vanguard and we'll let the PTP finish us. I will take this time to talk about why I will showcase this game. Because like in all the previous videos we had wins with our decks, right? I wanted to showcase some win because if you watch a video for a deck build and you see a deck win, you know the deck can work. And you are more likely to, use the deck, give it a chance. But I don't want to discourage you from playing this deck by showing you a lose, guys. This game, in my opinion, showcased the deck very quickly and very good, that the deck is very capable of trading as going face. We actually almost killed him. He was on 3 HP with triple Ancient Elf and double Tia. That is additional, well, I would say we took about 50 damage, or we dealt about 50 damage in this game. That is a lot. The deck is very capable of dishing out damage, but Forest is very capable of stopping it. So yeah, we'll showcase this game. You already know that because you saw the video already. And now let me move to the edit part of the video, because I want to tell you about the replacements. We'll go quickly to cards, decks, the Hulk, edit deck. I won't really make any changes to my deck, because it's pretty solid already, but I will show you what other cards you can play. You can play more Vanguards, if you want the deck to be more aggressive. So, versus Forest, Vanguards are very useful. Ninja Trainee looks good on paper, but in general it's just a worse Quick Blader, and Quick Blader is not that good already. So, I would rather not play Quick Blader at all. We have more Kunoichi Trainees, you can do that. Fervent Soldier is not really good because you have only Banner as your commander, right? Plus maybe Avant Blader. Balance Facer is a no-go because it gives you 1 additional damage, but it's a commander, your Maid Leader could draw it, and your Maid Leader is supposed to draw you Banner in early game and Avant Blader later on. Cyclone Soldier dies to everything. Veteran Lancer is kind of slow, but you can play him in sun matchups. Assassin is pointless. Luminous Knight is again a commander, we don't want those. Commander. Fearless Banneret is great arena card, but not really good here. Gunner Maid Seria is very good in, let's say, the Dark General version of the deck. I will talk about it when we come to the Dark General. Whole Soul Swing is definitely good in your more defensive version of Banner, and it's not a bad card, it's definitely not a bad card, but if you want the deck to be full aggressive, you usually play Banner. If you want the deck to be defensive, you usually play Grinder or midrange. So I prefer to keep Whole Soul Swing in midrange and control. We don't see any interesting here. Angelic Barrage, definitely put it in. If you are facing a lot of forest, like we did in this video. If we had Angelic Barrage in our hand at one point, we would probably win the game. Fencer is another commander. Snippy Gardener is not really good because it doesn't have immediate impact. Like, it will be strong, alright? It will be a 4/3 for 3 mana, which is very good in Shadowverse, but you will probably not get to attack with it, so it doesn't really matter. The Swift Infiltrator is a great card you can put in. It will probably very often get stealth, and with 2 HP it doesn't die to Angelic Barrage, so it's a very good stealther, but the problem with it is that it's 3 mana, and your evolved minion usually dies. So you would have to keep your evolve till like turn 5, and play a 2-drop, evolve it, and play a 3-drop. When you evolve a 2-drop, you usually want it to go face. Unless you are forced to trade with like Ruthless Knight, right? But that would mean you have Banner on 4 and Centaur Vanguard on 5 with Swift Infiltrator. That meant you didn't play the Floral Fencer, and you are always going for Floral Fencer on 5 or 4, depending if you are going first or second. Forge Weaponry is not a bad card, but there is not really much space in it. It doesn't have that much synergy, and it's very bad top deck. Giant Slayer is definitely a good option. It deals with Ancient Elf, it deals with Tia, it deals with Hill Heaven, but it's not really aggressive. So Tsubaki is usually better in this spot, but if you don't have Tsubaki, Giant Slayer is definitely something you can run. I also want to quickly come back to a card I didn't mention before. I missed it. Conscription. You can run Conscription instead of Avant Blader, and that is always a good idea, unless you really don't like Conscription, because Avant Blader is definitely a better top deck than Conscription, but Conscription is definitely better early on than Avant Blader. Also, Maid Leader will always give you Banner if you run Conscription instead of Avant Bladers. Right, let's back to 3 and 4 drops. Where did we finish? Right here. So, Rope Schwid, yeah, not in this deck. Demonic Strike, definitely something you can run. If you are a big fan of going face all the time, you basically replace all your non-face going late game drops, like you replace Tsubaki, you replace Avant Blader, you replace like Aesthetic Knight, and you just put in more Storm, more direct damage, so Demonic Strike, more 1-drops, like even Ninja Trainee. You just go all in on face. I don't recommend this playstyle, but if it feels the best for you, then definitely go for it. And Demonic Strike is also good in like more mid-range version of the Banner Sword Steel. Definitely a card you can consider. There are a lot of cards you can put in Banner. It's basically what do you feel about the best. White General is a commander, Courageous Knight is definitely a good card, but you have your 4th spot already pretty busy. You are usually finishing the game around turn 7, so if you drop your 4 on 4, you usually want to drop your 6 on 6, and then suddenly on turn 7 you may play 4 drop with 3 drop, that is not really strong, because your 4 drops don't storm the face, so you probably are better off playing 3 drop and double 2 drop. Yeah, so that's why we don't really run 4 drops. I would run Aesthetic Knight always over the Courageous Knight, because it's 1 mana cheaper. And Banner covering the weakness of lower attack, it makes them pretty equal. And now we come to Cursed General. So, basically, the Cursed General, you need to rebuild the entire deck. You don't focus so much on the Storm. You still play a lot of Stormers, like Novice Trooper, you play Centaur Vanguard, you play Ruthless Assassin, but you may pass on Quick Blader. You may pass on, like, probably Tsubaki, although she's pretty good still. I don't know what you would pass on, probably like Outless Knight? No, Outless Knight is also good, probably on Mentos Teaching, you don't need Mentos Teaching in deck with Cursed General. And basically the point of Cursed General in the deck is not to give you Storm consistently, because you will never get that, but to give you, I mean, the Cursed General will always die after first turn, unless a miracle happens. And the Cursed General gives you 1 burst of speed. Like, imagine it as a one-time spell that says your minions can storm this turn. You play Cursed General, you have Banner on board, and you evolve Floral Fencer. That is 5 plus 3 plus 2 damage to the face. That's actually 10 damage burst. And it's only for 8 mana and 1 evolution point, which you have to keep to turn 8, but as Banner you can often allow yourself to do that. You always also play more commander dependent units, like you could make Snippy Gardener work in Cursed General deck. You can definitely play, I would say you will definitely play Gunner Maid Seria in Commander deck. If you have Banner on board, it's 6 damage Storm. Yeah, and you probably don't play Avant Blader, you replace it with Conscription in this kind of deck, because you don't really want to have too many commanders. That makes Maid Leader inconsistent. If you have more questions about Cursed General deck, you probably would have to catch me on my stream. The info will be done in the description. Next up is Shadowed Assassin, which is an officer and gives stealth to everything you have. You can definitely run that. It's not a bad standalone card. Well, actually standalone is pretty bad, but if you have a single other minion, it's actually value enough. Especially if you have Evolve Point, and around turn 4 you usually will aim to evolve that. But you have to have really good board for it. So usually that means you have no banner on board. You just set up your early board. On turn 4 you hide your minions so they don't get cleared on the start of Evolution War. Let's say you are going first. This is the dream scenario. You are going first. You play Quick Blader, go face. On 2 you play, let's say, Outless Knight. On 3 you will play Aesthetic Knight. One of your minion dies. On 4 you go face and play Shadowed Assassin, and then they evolve over your Shadowed Assassin. You have 4 units on the board, you play Banner, you gain immediate 4 damage, and you can also evolve one of your units for damage. Like, this is for more aggressive version of the deck, when you have to guarantee your 1 drop, so we will probably play all 3 of Quick Blader, Vanguard, and Ninja Trainee. Later we have Mirage Defender, which is a taunt, so it's probably cheating. We don't want to get banned, we'll not play that. Rousing Step is better in more aggro-focused decks, not banner-focused decks. We can talk about it later. And everything above is too pricey already for us, except for Dance of Death. You can run Dance of Death. There is nothing stopping you. But if you run Dance of Death, you usually pass on Tsubaki, which would mean you probably get to finish your opponent much quicker, because you play it on turn 5, you deal additional damage, while Tsubaki only attacks on 7. And this is also probably very good in control matchups, right? Because you get rid of big towns. But Tsubaki can do that too. I would always run Tsubaki over Death's Dance. But if you don't have Tsubaki, and you are not a big fan of Giant Slayer, definitely Dance of Death is a worthy replacement. Above that is pretty much nothing interesting, like Onslaught is worse version of Dance of Death, and Sage Commander, we are looking at the wrong deck. Some people like to run Otohime in banner, or even Gabriel, but I don't really recommend that. If you want to play Otohime and Gabriel, just play mid-range deck without banners. They were better there. Yeah, for front guard generals, Koga Kunoichis, they are all options, but you don't really want to running that. Gilgamesh is definitely unworthy of this deck, even though it's a 5 damage storm. If you have 3 banners on the board, Novice Trooper is 3 damage storm for 3 mana instead of 8. So you won't focus on your synergy. Koga Kunoichi is a decent finisher if you don't have Alvida command, I would say, but Alvida command is infinitely better. So definitely spare some dust if you want to build this deck. The deck is pretty cheap. It runs basically Alvida commands, and that is our only gold. You don't need Tsubaki. Everything else is silver and basic, and pretty much bronzes. The deck is very cheap, very effective, and I highly recommend it to you. I hope you enjoyed this deck building episode. We will see each other in the next one. Also, before I forget, I'm sorry we didn't have the video last week, but I was very sick and couldn't record. We'll probably catch up on the videos a bit later, like in the midweek we'll probably have another deck building episode. Hope you enjoyed the video. Check out my Twitch channel, you can find the link down in the description. If you have any further question, it would be best to address me there. Peace out.